Hey everyone, it's Erin with Hail Varsity. I am joined by Greg, recruiting extraordinaire, also of Hail Varsity, and we are here for a special, not recruiting question of the week video, but a little spin-off, I would call it. We are going to talk about the fact that Nebraska has approximately 1 million visitors expected in town for this weekend, but it is, while maybe not 1 million, there are a lot of recruits expected to be at Memorial Stadium for Nebraska's spring game on Saturday. So we just thought we'd talk about it, give you the rundown of what you need to know. Greg, before I start asking you all the questions, how are you today?
Busy because of this like expansive recruiting list that we have, which I do think is the biggest one that I've seen since I've been doing this, like predating Scott Frost. It's a rather large list, so I am busy with all the things, but good.
Yeah, it sounds like from what people have been telling you, this is one of the biggest weekends of Scott Frost's recruiting or of his career, but specifically, and I should say his tenure at Nebraska specifically. But sounds like this is going to be one of the biggest recruiting weekends he has had while at the helm of Nebraska's program. And the list is impressive. So let's just start here. There is what I would call one shining gem of all of this. Not that there's not many of them, but there's one that I think people are very particularly interested in seeing. Can you shed some light on that individual and why people are so excited to see him?
Okay, wow, it's actually there's two that I was thinking of. I'm
But
not sure which way you were going.
because you specifically talked about him like all of the last week.
Ocha Mathis.
Thank
Ocha
you. I
Mathis.
see you knew exactly who I was. We were
Yeah.
joking really quick. We were joking before for anyone who's watching. We were joking that I was going to try to stump Greg, but he already knew. He knew who I was talking about. So give us the one that I knew you were thinking of, but then you can also give us our second place runner up.
Okay, I will do that for you. Ocha Mathis, the TCU pass rush specialist transfer, is the only official visit that will be here this weekend. Coming into the week, thought that they would actually have more than one official visitor, but it turns out that Nebraska wants to save those for this summer to be able to do that because they have so many unofficial visitors coming in this weekend. But Mathis is a hugely important player, and the reason that you say that everyone is talking about him even more so than some of the other really big names on this list is because he's the guy that can help the team the most this coming season. Well, the only one that can help them this coming season because he can transfer into Nebraska's program this summer. He was a two-time second team all Big 12, selection while he was at TCU. He's got a connection to Nebraska because Brian Applewhite was the former running backs coach at TCU, now at Nebraska. So he has someone at least on staff that he's familiar with. And this is actually Mathis's first official visit. So to clear something up, he did take a visit to Texas, I think last month or 2 months ago, but that was actually an unofficial visit. So Nebraska is actually getting the first opportunity to host him for an official visit. He is on his way with his mom and a lot of family members, I'm told. So it's a really big opportunity for Nebraska to show him like what makes this place great and what it could be a fit for him. And then, how much Nebraska needs him. It can't be said enough that it's an enormous visit for Nebraska.
It is, but so you did say there's another. So he's the official visitor, but we do have an unofficial visitor that has sparked many people's interest, including yours.
Yeah, I think that you're not going to talk too long about this weekend without getting to Dylan Raiola, the 2024, five-star quarterback who is potentially the number one overall player in the 2024 class. Not just the top quarterback, but the actual top player in that entire class. And as such, the entire country is after him. He's gone kind of on a whirlwind of tours or visits this spring where he's hit USC. He's been to Georgia, Ohio State, I believe he's been to as well. Oregon too has been in the mix there too. The who's who of college football is coming after him. Obviously, there's a deep and strong connection to his family with Nebraska, with his dad having his name in the Ring of Honor in the stadium, being a former Remington Award winner, his uncle Donovan on Nebraska's staff. And it's going to be an interesting battle because I would caution Nebraska fans at this point. to just buckle up and get in for the long haul on this one. There are going to be twists and turns, not necessarily because of Dylan himself, but just because it's the nature of these really high profile recruitments, right? He took that visit to USC. There are some people that think he's going to USC. He has really, really liked Georgia. There are people that think he's going to Georgia. There are others that think that he's coming to Nebraska because he's got the strong family ties. I say all of that to say, this is a really important visit for Nebraska to really get into the nitty gritty with Dylan. It's not going to be about, hey, show me the new facilities and the fan support and all of that, because he knows that already, right? He's going to want to meet with Coach Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, to see the direction of the offense. He's going to want to talk to Mickey Joseph about what receivers are coming in and how that's been going with development. I think that it'll be real interesting from a football standpoint to see how that visit goes.
I actually talked about this a little bit on Derek's podcast this week. So if you are not listening to the Varsity Club podcast, I really recommend it. We talked about just things we're looking forward to as far as the spring game, but what we're looking to see, not only spring game, but going forward into fall camp and beyond. And the thing for me that I'm really particularly interested in is seeing Mark Whipple in action as far as what his offense looks like. And it's just going to be fascinating to see, I don't know, just what that dynamic now looks like with Frost. And I think that is going to play into what a lot of recruits are looking for too. They want to know what this dynamic looks like, who's calling the shots, who's handling this or that. And a lot of this is unknown. I don't even think a lot of it's going to be answered from the spring game, unfortunately.
Right.
So we're going to be looking at, players looking at fall to see what Nebraska looks like if change has truly come for this program, if you start to see results from the changes made. So long story short, I'm eager to see what Whipple can do, but I don't think we're going to get much from the spring game. So you're right. I think with someone like Dylan, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a wild ride, because I think he's also got a lot to consider and a lot to still see, even beyond just this weekend. This weekend is a great opportunity, especially for those. I would always say the spring game is like the great opportunity if you can't get a kid on campus during the season, or if you want to get them on campus early. This is as close to a game day environment as you can get them, but it's not a true game day situation, not a game day scenario. So there's still a lot to be known, but the fact that they have so many recruits on campus, that's also a big thing. That probably, at least in my opinion, if you're a recruit looking around and you see all of these other recruits that are here, that probably has to make you feel a little bit like, I don't know, it has to make you feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think on specifically on Dylan and kind of waiting to see how things take shape, I actually think Nebraska fans should be happy that he's actually kind of playing this process out, because to be frank, like if he had to make a decision right now about Nebraska versus some of these other schools, Nebraska's at a disadvantage based on where some of those other programs are right now, right? And so you want him to be able to take his time, see how things shape out with the offense and what that looks like. Also see how Nebraska's season starts. And I think that that's going to be important as well. So yeah, some of these guys, you want them to be able to kind of take a step back and make those decisions a little bit down the road, potentially when they're able to then come back in theory for a game in the fall.
Yeah, it's quite the list. If you're listening to us talk and you want to see more, the whole list will be linked in the description of this video. It is at hailvarsity.com. It is a long list of scholarship signees, walk-on signees, commits, players with offers, without offers. We're talking 2022 through 2025. There are a lot of people that are going to be here. Now, when I say 2022, what's particularly interesting about that to me is these are obviously players that have already signed with Nebraska, are a part of that 2022 class, but there are a number of players that I think people are going to be excited to see in person for the first time, even if they're just on the sideline. Like I keep thinking of like the Coldest Crawford, like how eager people are to see him. But it's also, for those that are not an early enrollee, it has to be a good thing for Nebraska to feel like, one, of course they would want to be there if they can. But I mean, it's not like everybody is just driving across town for this. Some people are coming from Louisiana. Some people are coming from Illinois. Some people are coming from much further than just down the street or up the road, whatever. That is such a Nebraska thing to say. Like up the road is Omaha, down the street is like a Lincoln school. But I'm just saying, like, this is a good thing to see that your players for this class, they want to be there. They want to show up. They want to be a part of it. They want to just experience this day. And, this is, if nothing else, that's really good for team bonding.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that 5 of the 9 scholarship signees for 2022 that are coming in this weekend did not come to Lincoln this past year for a game, right? So because of what happened with the late flurry of all of the action with the team, like some of these guys visited Lincoln in the offseason for their official visit, but they have not seen what they've been told about with the fan base and what it's like here for a game day. And they won't get the full thing, obviously, this Saturday, but they'll get a taste of it. And I think that I'll be curious to see like what the reaction is from those guys after hearing about how big and good the fan support is, to see what that's like for a spring game versus what they've seen other places for actual game day visits when they took them last fall before ultimately signing with Nebraska. But it is a great sign that you've got many of those kids. And like you said, not just from, up the road coming in for these visits. That's always good. Plus, those guys can help peer recruit because there will need to be plenty of that this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to basically have to be like paired up with somebody to like,
yeah, just get assigned to someone. Yeah.
Maybe
which actually, but it might work. Like one in particular, though, that I'm really curious about that is Janarin Bonner, who's from Ellenwood, Georgia, 4-star receiver that committed to Nebraska late in the 2022 class. Like he's got a lot of teammates that are coming up here as well. There's a handful of teammates from the 2023 and 2024 classes that are coming on unofficial visits this weekend. So I'll be curious to see like how does he kind of impact that situation and the ability to peer recruit, because that and a lot of times your best recruiters are those guys that have either just signed or the guys that are on the team right now, because they can really earn the trust of those recruits by being also fellow players.
It's gonna be a big weekend, no matter what. I will say this: if you are somebody who wants to help Nebraska in any capacity when it comes to recruiting, one of the best things you can do is you can show up for the spring game. There are plenty of tickets left. I haven't looked at the most recent number. I'm sure it's grown a little bit since Wednesday when we last heard, but I think Wednesday was right around 45,000. And so that's still impressive. But if you're somebody who is looking for something to do on Saturday, the spring game is always a great option. It is not an expensive event to attend. And on top of it, it's going to be a beautiful day in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's going to be like 60 degrees and sunny, which we woke up with snow on the ground today, which that will be gone, by the way. That will be gone by the time the spring game kicks off. But it's going to be a great day to just be outside, enjoy some nice spring weather. So if nothing else, if you're like, how do I make an impact in recruiting? This is a really easy way to do it, is show up for these type of events, get as many people in the stadium as possible, because that does speak volumes. I know in those first couple of years of Frost's tenure, when there was nearly 90,000 people in that stadium, those visitors for the spring game, their eyes were wide because they could not believe that. So it's an easy thing to do if you're able, if you're near. If not, you can watch it on BTN. It will be on Big Ten Network at 1 p.m. Central. You can watch it from home as well. So you don't have to feel left out. You can be in the stadium if you're able, or you can watch from home, whatever. But if you're at home, if you're somewhere with warm weather, at least like open some windows and enjoy, like pretend like you're outside at the spring game.
That's right. Like have a slice of pizza, like do something to simulate the in-person experience.
Yeah, get a red hot dog. Yeah. Only Pepsi products. Somebody out there is yelling at me about Coca-Cola products right now.
It's gonna happen. I feel the comment being typed right now.
I feel it. It's all good. But again, if you want more on these particular players, if you want to know the full list, we will link it in the description of this video. But you can just also hop over to hailvarsity.com. Go ahead. Just bookmark it, because we'll have plenty to come through the weekend when it comes to both recruiting and everything spring game. We'd love to have you not only as a subscriber at Hail Varsity, which not only includes all of our online content, but also includes our monthly magazine and our yearly football yearbook, which is like a coveted item. So it's coming before you know it. So go head over and become a subscriber to Hail Varsity. But you can also subscribe to this YouTube channel and be alerted whenever we have new videos, because we will be recapping not only everything, again, spring game, but everything going forward. We might be hitting the off season, but there will be plenty to talk about, dive into, especially after Saturday. So go ahead, like and subscribe. We'd love to have you. Greg, as always, thank you. I hope you get some sleep this weekend, although I feel like it'll be a busy one for you.
Yeah, it'll be a busy one. I will try to find pockets of sleep where I can.
As long as it's not in the stadium on Saturday. If I look over and your head down is on, I'm just kidding.
just nudge me a little bit. It's fine.
It'll be fine. We'll take video and then we'll wake you up.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you as always, everyone. We will be back with even more. I know Greg and Steve are going to have another video. Greg and Steve will have another video talking about more things to look for when it comes to spring game. So be sure, again, like and subscribe. We'll talk to you later.